This is uncharted waters. We got a new law now that legalizes marijuana. And given the fact that there's so much access to marijuana now, obviously it's going to start to have an impact in traffic violations.
That's Ohio State Representative Cecil Thomas, who's one of the co-sponsors of House Bill 230, which would allow police to perform fast results drug tests in the field. He and other state lawmakers feel some type of test is needed now that marijuana in all of its forms is legal in Ohio.
Similar to DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol. Now you're going to have obviously individuals driving under the influence of a drug. And marijuana happens to be a drug that impairs your ability to function.
Ascend dispensary in downtown Cincinnati is dual use, meaning it sells both medical and recreational. I talked with the senior VP of retail who told me that recreational sales account for 90% of the business here. In fact, Ascend has 4 other dispensaries in Ohio, and all of them overwhelmingly sell recreational cannabis. Before Bill 230 passed the House last spring, it was amended so police officers could better investigate drivers suspected of being high by using the rapid result oral fluid test. If you're pulled over under suspicion of being impaired, the complied consent law implies your license is a privilege, not a right. So if you refuse a breathalyzer, you lose your driving privileges. The same thing would happen if Ohio State lawmakers can get these tests into the hands of officers.
This bill will allow for the similar situation if an officer suspects you of under the influence of a drug, whatever that drug may be. Then the officer will offer to do a mouth swab.
Yeah.
You can refuse that mouth swab. If you refuse, same way, your license is suspended. Yeah, automatically.
While marijuana is now legal in most circumstances, it does not make it legal to get behind the wheel impaired. Same with alcohol. Really, from the signs of the Ohio State Highway Patrol's standpoint, nothing has changed. We still don't want people to get behind the wheel impaired. Just make that right choice.
Sergeant Ryan Purpura has been an Ohio trooper for 20 years. He says while lawmakers haven't passed HB 230 and the rapid oral test to detect marijuana use, they can still use their training.
There's some other tests in there that we're going to do on the side of the road to detect that impairment. Since 2011, our troopers have been trained in ARIDE, which is Advanced Roadside Impaired Driving Enforcement. So our troopers have been trained since 2011 to look for those signs of a drug impairment or alcohol impairment. It's something we take very seriously, and it's for the safety of everybody.
That's why it's crucial and why we're trained as investigators to do those roadside tests or observe the driving behavior and other things that tell us whether someone's under the influence. So that's crucial in an investigation. That through our investigation, it's going to be a totality of the circumstances along with an ultimate test to figure out what was in their system at the time.
Unlike Ohio, marijuana is illegal in Indiana, but it's surrounded by 3 states: Ohio, Michigan, and Illinois, where it's legal recreationally, and Kentucky, which has already legalized medical marijuana. However, Indiana troopers are getting the marijuana fast result oral tests and the extra training that comes with them.
It's still early on. Indiana State Police has gotten some of that technology to us, but training and more of those devices being sent out is going to really help our officers roadside to make that determination.
Representative Cecil Thomas, who served with Cincinnati Police for nearly 30 years, says state lawmakers, police, and the courts need to be proactive and work together.
We all know that marijuana could be in your system for over 30 days or more. So there's going to have to be a threshold as to what is impairment. Now, if you got it in your system, just like if you have alcohol in your system, technically you're in violation. Now if you have it in your system, technically you're in violation, but are you impaired?
Ohio State troopers launched a pilot program last summer to try out a new oral fluid test. It uses a mouth swab that quickly tells police if a driver is under the influence of marijuana instead of taking blood or urine samples and sending those off to a lab. The pilot program is expected to last for an entire year before being reevaluated to ensure the tests are implemented correctly.